Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping back in. Sorry it's been about a week since I put up a video. My neighbor behind me, one of the 55 Chevy 4-door station wagon, I've been helping him put in his wiring harness for his wagon. We were putting a painless wiring harness in it. I told him I'd help him get it going. I stopped over there the other night and looked at it, and there wasn't even a fuse block in it. So, like I say, he inherited the car, so he has been trying to get it going, but we just decided it would be best to wire it front to back. So that's what I've been doing. I should have took some videos of it, but we're almost done now, so I should be back more regularly with these videos. But tonight I thought I'd just stop in and do a quick side project with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I am going to rebuild one of those parking brake assembly handles like I showed you guys last time. This is for a 56, so remember 55 and 56. The bracket is kind of a little parallel with your handle, so 57 is going to be angled back. So what I'm doing here is I have some pieces from a couple different handles. This one didn't have the lower piece. This one here, it was on, but it was froze up, so we had to ruin the end of it to get it off. Or when I tried to get it off, it twisted it off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use bits and pieces out of two of them. So we'll do it that way. So anyway, I started already getting this off. Generally what I do with the handles, I use the vise because they're normally broken. Like this one was, the plastic was all rusted off and bent up. So usually I just clamp them in the vise to break the rest of the plastic off. And usually what you have to do is you have to take a cutoff wheel and make a slice up this way to peel the steel housing off. And then if you can see in there, there's a pin that we have to drive out. And your new handle comes with a new roll pin, so we don't need that one. But to get this out, what we have to do, let me show you on this one, it's a little bit easier. So there's that pin there, and that is what, when you pull the lever out and you push it in, turn the handle, that guides the handle straight. So what there's that pin there, there's a little bitty hole right here that you line up and you drive out. And I've already started doing that on this one. I'll show you that. So you can see it's almost out. So let's just drive that the rest of the way out. And that one you do have to reuse, so make sure you don't lose it. There's the pin. Now this handle, the inners should slide out, and make sure you don't lose your little pawls, the ratchet pawls and the springs in there, because you'll have to reuse those. So, okay, now here's those little ratchet pieces you can see in there, and what those is going to happen is you just kind of got to work them through. Hold them straight, and they should just come out through that side. They'll push straight out because there's no shaft to hold them in place anymore. Like I say, be careful of these little bitty screws in here, or the little springs in here, because those you also have to reuse. So there's one of them. Okay, so I'll have to fold that one down. That one looks like it's actually been froze up for a while. Wasn't actually doing its job anyhow. So push that down, push right out. And then there is our spring we have to reuse too. Alright, so that's junk. We're going to throw that away. I am, however, going to reuse this shaft because it was a little less rusty than the other one. So what we have to do now is we have to drive that pin out there. That's what holds the original handle on. Like this one you don't have to reuse, so we'll put the parts down there we have to reuse. Just drive this pin out. like that. All right. So now we're going to use this shaft. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to use this housing. I'm just going to save this shaft for later because it's already got a pretty decent handle on it. So we need to line up that pin right there with that hole. And you can kind of see, I don't know if you can tell in this or not, but yeah, you probably can't see, but that's right where the hole is. You put the punch through and it'll knock it right out. Be real careful with the vise because you don't want to pinch it shut. Or pinch the tube shut because then the shaft won't slide in the right way. Alright, like I showed you before, it's all together, but now without that pin in there, this will slide right on out. You can see on this one the spring was good, so both of these dropped. Not that the spring was bad on that one, but this one's a little bit cleaner, was less rusty, I guess you'd say. But it seems like the shaft was actually in better shape than that one. The inner shaft wasn't quite as rusty. Because with those, what I usually do is I use the SOS pad and clean them up. Okay, there's your spring and your pawls. And now I think what we're going to do, we're going to throw that in the sandblast cabinet and we'll clean that up. And I'll show you what it's like after we blast it, the two pieces, get some paint on them, and then we'll put it back together. Alright, so I got them all sandblasted. Turned out pretty nice. Pretty clean. And I'm pretty sure I've showed you guys this before, but this kind of stuff, this is what I generally use. Duplicolor engine enamel. Just because it dries quick and it's pretty durable, and like this is, I think this is medium gloss, yeah, or semi-gloss, so it looks pretty close to the original paint that GM used. And I couldn't tell you how many cans of this stuff I went through. It's been a bunch, but man, did the price go up. I think you used to pay like $6 or $7 a can. Now it's like $13 after tax. So just like everything else, though. But anyway, let's put a couple of thick, nice, heavy coats on that. We'll see how that turns out. I don't know if you guys notice what I'm using here, but I've got a couple of old IV poles. My second son was born with heart defects, so when he was a baby, he had to be tube fed because he had to have open heart surgery right after he was born. And when babies are first born, if they don't learn to use a bottle or breastfeed, they lose that instinct. So he was tube fed for the first year of his life. So now, since he's grown up and learned to eat fine, I repurposed his IV poles. But it actually works pretty good. Alright, so we'll give this a chance to dry up. We'll put a second coat on. Okay, so now I got a second coat on that stuff. It looks pretty good, so we're letting that dry up. So now I'll show you what I do with the rest of the parts. So, like the shaft, the pawls, the spring. So all that stuff, what I do is I just use an SOS pad and I clean it up real well. Reason being is that shaft, you know, if you paint that, if you sandblast and paint it, it's just going to scrape all that paint off anyway, and it's going to get gummed up inside the tube, all that kind of stuff. So I always thought it was the best thing to do is just clean it up with an SOS pad, get it real clean, and then it won't rust either. Plus, because like I say, if you blast it and it scratches up and gets any kind of moisture on it, it's just gonna flash rust anyhow inside the car if it's humid where you live or anything like that. So I'll clean these up and I'll show you how they turn out. They actually turn out pretty good. SOS pads work perfect for this kind of stuff. Alright, so here's the stuff after I got done cleaning it up. So here's all the pieces you need. The two pawls, the spring, that's the piece that holds the rod in and guides it, and then the shaft. So another thing I will say is, like the spring, you know, it's up to you with whether you want to sandblast any of this stuff, but the spring, don't ever sandblast the spring because it'll take the temper out of it and it won't be any good. So I just clean these up as best as I can. You know, if they're really bad, you know, you gotta find a replacement, but this one seems to be pretty good shape. So I think what we'll do is we're going to take this down to the bottom garage. We'll put the new handle on it. While this is finished drying up, it actually started blushing because it's pretty humid out here. But I just hit it with a torch and heated it up a little bit. Now it should be good. So let's go take care of that. Alright, there we got our new Dan Chuck handle, new roll pin. Now I'm just going to lay this on a rag. You know, I could stick it in the vise over there, but these actually go in pretty easy. I mean, you can see how well that slides off and on there. So with this roll pin, it should tap in there pretty decent. Now you can see right there where I had to cut off the outer ring of this thing, because they're on there pretty good. And there's a roll pin, you know, from one side that holds that on. So usually got to slice them to get them off. So let's see if we can't start this roll pin in. Okay, grab another punch so we don't hit that handle. Should be able to drive this thing in. Perfect. Nice and flush now. Alright, so now we're going to stick these pawls and the spring back in here. So your way to do that is, you see on this side it's completely open, that side it's not. So they got to go in from this side. So what you're going to do is we're going to lay this spring in here like this. And what's going to happen is when we push those pawls up, it's going to load that spring, and then when we put the shaft in, it'll have tension on it still. So they have a curve to them, just like the hole there. So if you see that curve, and it's got a little tooth at the bottom, it's going to slide in here just like this. So now, kind of need 3 hands to do this, but they do spring in there. And if you hold those up, you stick the new shaft all cleaned up, or I should say the original shaft all cleaned up. past the teeth. Turn it. Now you'll hear it ratchet. Just like that, give it a turn. Back in it goes. So now all we gotta do is we put our cable in, and then we'll go back and we'll put that little piece that holds it all together so it doesn't come apart. So there's our new cable. These are all the same other than for a convertible. So unravel it all. That's the ball in the end. So all you gotta do, pull this out a little bit, and you'll see right there where the groove is. This fishes up through here, then that sits in that ball right there. And when we slide this back, like that, it holds it all in place. Then we'll go drive that pin in, and then it won't come out, be able to come out far enough then for it to come out. All right, guys, we're gonna switch gears a little bit here. So I did finally settle on the engine and trans combo I'm gonna put in the window delivery. So what I decided I'm going to do is I am going to use that 6-shooter tri-power and the turbo 350 I planned on putting in it earlier. The only reason I kind of decided the 4-speed would have been kind of cool, but the only reason I decided to go with the turbo 350 is because I've pretty much got everything rounded up for that. Pre-bent lines and all that for the cooler and all that kind of stuff. And I got one here. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to pull the motor and trans out of this 57 210. I bought the car with the stuff in it. Now, I was told when I bought it that the engine and transmission were both rebuilt. Tranny looks pretty clean. Engine, if it was rebuilt, they just sprayed right over the old orange, because you can see right here I pulled a little bit of the paint off. You can see the old orange underneath, and they never even cleaned the grease off. So, I don't know. But we're going to pull it out and check it out. So let's do that. So another thing you guys probably don't realize is everything that was in the beginning of this video with the e-brake handle, I actually filmed a couple weeks ago. So sorry I haven't gotten anything up for quite a while. We actually went on vacation. Me and the wife and kids drove down to Orlando and went to Disney World. So we were gone for about 10 days. And like I said earlier, I've been helping my neighbor behind me. Hopefully we're going to get that done pretty quick here. Kind of been trying to get to my stuff a little bit. Today is Sunday, so I'll be home tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday night right after work. We're getting ready, we're loading up, heading back south, going down to the Tri-5 Nationals. So hopefully, will I see some of you guys there maybe? Drop me a note in the comments, let me know if you're going to be there. I think it'd be cool to see some of you guys. So let's get this motor and trans out and see what we got. You guys ever pull engines, get one of those levelers. I love that thing. You can change the angle of the engine, anything you need to do. Like right now, start the back of the trans is starting to hit the trans hump. Just give it a couple cranks. Tilt it right back, and then you can scoot it out and put it the other way. So now I can start to level it up. right, we're out. Don't mind the messy garage. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is not a rebuilt transmission. Fairly clean, so they probably just cleaned it up, bolted it in. Like I said, it's probably something they pulled out as a complete unit and just cleaned it up a little bit and painted it, but whatever. Like I say, I'm going to pull the trans out, or pull it off the back of this, clean it up, pull the pan, see how everything looks inside, see if there's, make sure there's no metal shavings or anything like that. Put a new filter in it and run it, see how it does. So hopefully it'll be good. If not, well, I guess we'll do something else. So it looks like this car, like I say, I bought this car probably 10, 12 years ago and never really did anything with it. So it looks like they were putting a rack and pinion in it and changing to the old, the mounts where you can use the original frame mounts that kind of predated the, you know, cross members. I don't think many people ever really use those anymore. They did the trick, but so like I say, this car, I got 257, so 210 two-door sedan. I'm gonna take the good off of this, combine it with the other one, and then I think we'll probably end up parting the rest of this one out. Yep, she definitely ain't rebuilt. She's a little greasy on the backside. So looks like this is probably a junkyard engine. Looks like it. I ran the codes. Looks like it's a 75 350 out of the pickup. So I imagine that's what they did. They probably just picked this engine up, threw a coat of paint on it, fed me a line and said it was rebuilt. But it doesn't matter. I'll probably clean it up and just use it as a core. But yeah, trans is out. So now the next step is to clean that up, get that bolted to the back of the engine over here. And we'll get that bolted in the chassis, and then I can set the frame, or the body, back on the frame. Be a roller again. So that's the plan. Hopefully we can get doing that here pretty soon. Like I said, I'm be tied up most of this week for the Tri-5 Nationals, but after that, we'll get back on this. Okay guys, what would one of these videos be without a little bit of parts trivia at the end? So here I got a little something laid out for you to show you today. So it's something you guys look at pretty much every time you drive your car. You probably really never give it a second thought. But these obviously are your rearview mirror stems, and what you may or may not have known is there was actually different lengths for different model Tri-5s. So what we're going to start with the very longest one here, which is this one. You can see how long that one is compared to the shortest. If I do this, it's quite a bit longer. So what this is here, now also there is two different versions of each one of these, because obviously there's a chrome one, and you guys may also not have known this, but only Bel Airs use the chrome stems. Other than that, like 210s and 150s, they were painted silver. So like this, for instance, this one here, it fits 55 station wagons only. Now you can see this is actually a painted silver, it's not chrome, and that is the longest of any of them. And the easy way, if like you're at a swap meet or something, if you pick one of these up to know if it's for a station wagon, or I'll get to this in a second, four-door hardtop, is they have 7 little notches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where the regular cars only have 5. Okay, so long one, 55 wagon. Silver, 210, 150 only. Bel Airs would have the exact same stem, but obviously it would be chrome. Alright, second one. A little bit longer, or a little bit shorter, I should say. Same thing, it's got 7 of the little notches. This now would fit 56 and 57 wagon, as well as 56 and 57 sport sedan or four-door hardtop. So they're a little bit shorter. Obviously 210. There was a chrome version also for the Bel Airs. Now this is the one that most of you guys probably have in your cars if you have a aftermarket reproduction one, because as far as I know, they only reproduced 2 of them, and it's this one and the one for the convertibles. So this is the shortest out of all of them. It's the sorry, my camera screwed up there. So that's the real short one, and it's only got 5 marks. So this would fit, obviously silver, so it's going to fit all your 150, 210, 210 or 2-door sedans, 4-door sedans, 210 hardtops, and the chrome version is obviously going to fit all those same cars, but in Bel Air only. Now here is the other one. These are really easy to pick out. Now this is a reproduction, so you can see, you know, that's the thing about reproduction parts. It kind of has the detail, but if you look at the originals, they're a lot sharper. But anyhow, this is a convertible, so you can see how short this is here, where it bolts to the windshield header, versus the actual car ones are real long. But as far as I know, this one and this one here are the only one that are reproduced, but they're going to be chrome. So if you have a 210 or a 150 and you have a chrome one in there, technically it's not correct. Nobody really, you know, other than me and a lot of other people that are into the details, really, you know, gives a second thought about it. But yeah, so I just thought I'd show them to you today. A little bit of Tri-5 wisdom imparted your way. So, alright guys, like I said, I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video up. Like I said, I had the first half filmed a few weeks ago, but I just never got the chance to do the editing on it, and I never filmed an outro, so I figured I would just come out, do a little bit of filming today, and just make one big video. Also, let's see, I think we're actually getting up there pretty good now for members. Like I said, we're going to give that gift card away when we get there. And let me see what we're at right now. So as of right now, we have 782 subscribers, so another 218 to go. But alright guys, as always, I appreciate you watching. Sorry it took so long for me to get this video up. I'll try to do better. Hopefully I'll see you guys, some of you at the Tri-5 Nationals. I've been looking forward to this. Last year I was supposed to go. I haven't missed one other than last year. My boss had passed away, and I took over for him, so last minute thing, I couldn't go. In the year before, obviously, you know, nothing was happening. So I'm really looking forward to getting back down there. The last time I had my kids down there was when my boys were like 1 and 2, and my daughter wasn't even born yet. So I'm kind of excited to get them down there and show them some more of Daddy's cars, I call them. And we're going to do a little bit of fun things. We're going to take them over to Mammoth Caves and stuff like that, go swimming. So make a little family trip out of it, like we just didn't get back from Disney World anyway, but oh well. So, alright guys, hope to see you down there. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.